The primer that I'm going to use today is from Sonia Kashuk. It is the Perfecting Vitamin Rich Primer. And I just use 2 pumps of that and I rub it all over my skin like I would a lotion. The texture of it is amazing. It is smooth and silky and velvety. And this is just going to smooth out your pores and any lines. And it's just going to give you a really good base for foundation. And the foundation that I'm going to use today is my Kat Von D Lock It Tattoo Foundation because I want my coverage to be immaculate, and this is going to give you the best coverage. It has a matte finish, but it is also lightweight. So I'm using my Expert Face Brush by Real Techniques. It's one of my favorite brushes to apply foundation. And I'm just working the foundation down because that's the direction your hair grows. And that's going to give you the best finish and coverage. And I'm also going to put some down my neck because this foundation does oxidize, so it does dry a little bit darker than what it is when you put it straight from the tube. And I'm just going to leave the eye area open for concealer. And now I'm just applying some concealer underneath my eyes on my eyelids with my Beauty Blender. And the concealer that I'm using today is NC20 Pro Longwear Concealer by MAC. It's an awesome concealer. It doesn't crease, it's very lightweight, and it gives you excellent coverage. And I'm also going to put a little bit down the bridge of my nose because my nose is very red. And with some Sonia Kashuk translucent powder, I'm just going to set everything. It gives me a very light powder so it doesn't look cakey. And with my Sonia Kashuk brightening powder, I'm just going to place that in the areas that I place my concealer. I want those places to be very bright. So underneath my eyes and down the bridge of my nose. And I'm going to use my Kardazzle palette today, and I'm going to use the bronzer in the palette. And this is a Sonia Kashuk crease brush, and I'm just going to carve out the cheekbones and then slightly blend it. And then I'm going to go in with a blush brush to make it really soft and not so harsh. I just like to use the crease brush just to carve out my cheekbones, and then I'll go over it with a soft blush brush to make everything look really soft and blended. And then I'm going to place that on my forehead, a little bit around the hairline and on the sides of my nose to contour. And when you put bronzer on the side of your nose, it just makes your nose look really straight. And then I like to put some on the tip of my nose to make it look a little bit lifted. You just really want a light application, nothing too strong. And then I am taking the blush from the palette, the Kardazzle palette, Khloe Kardazzle palette. And I'm just going to put that along my cheekbones. And I love this blush. I love the color so much. It's the perfect corally color. And then I'm also taking the highlight from the palette as well, and I'm putting that on the tops of my cheeks, down the bridge of my nose, and on the cupid's bow. I really like this highlight because it has a light gold finish, so it's really soft, but it also brings a really nice glow to the skin. And for my eyes, I'm using my Beauty Weapon palette from Motives, and I'm going to be using all these shades here. And the first color I'm using is a matte ivory color, and I'm just going to put that on the brow bone. This is just going to lift your brows, and it's also going to help when I put my crease color, which I'm using a matte brown from the palette. Oh, I'm sorry, this is actually the bronze shimmery color from the palette. And I'm just using a large blending brush to place that in the crease. And you just want to flare it out and smoke it out. It doesn't have to be too defined, it can look very soft. And so I'm just going to place that in the crease, and I'm going to stop right underneath my where my brows start. And then I'm going to go in with the mauve shimmery color in the palette. And I'm going to place that more on the outer corner of the lids and softly bringing it in towards the crease. I want most of the color to be on the outer half. And everything is just going to look very shimmery and light, nothing too defined. And just for a little bit more darkness on the outer part of my eyelid, I'm using the matte mauve shade in the palette. And that's what I like about this palette, is that it has a few matte shades and a few shimmery shades, because I really like to play with textures on the eyelid. So here I'm just placing the matte mauve shade on the outer half, or the burgundy, I guess you would say it's more of a burgundy. And then I'm placing the white shimmery shade from the palette on the inner portion of my eyelid. This is just going to open up my eyes and make them look really big. And it's going to add some light to the eye area as well. And I'm just using a blending brush. You just want to concentrate and place most of the color underneath the crease. So it's a very light, shimmery, natural look. And then I'm taking the bronze shimmery color again. I'm going to place that on the lower lash line, and I'm just using a small pencil brush by Sonia Kashuk. And you just want to blend it all the way underneath. And then I'm going to align my lids. I'm using L'Oreal Infallible Gel Eyeliner. And I'm just going to create a pretty dramatic winged eyeliner. And I do have a separate video on this of how I do my eyeliner. It is on my channel if you need to check it out. It's pretty simple. I pretty much do what I do in that video and this video. And then I'm going to use my Anastasia brow gel to set my brows, because later on when I fill them in, they're not going to be moving around. So I like to set them first so that they're nice and hard when I go and fill them in. It makes it a lot easier for me. And now I'm just going to curl my eyelashes. I'm using my Sonia Kashuk eyelash curler. And then I'm going to put plenty of coats of mascara. I like to use a lot of mascara. I usually do about 4 coats. And now I'm going to take my Sonia Kashuk Eye on Neutral palette, and this is the matte palette. I'm going to take shade number 6, and I'm going to lightly fill in my entire brow. And then with a darker color, color 9, I am just going to define the lower part of my eyebrows so that they look more crisp, and they also make my brows a little bit darker. And it also just gives my brows a little bit more dimension. And now I'm just going to use one of my favorite pairs of lashes. These are the number 43 lashes. And here are the eyes finished. You can see that it's very simple, but yet it makes a really nice statement to your eyes. It looks very natural, really flirty, and I just love this look. I think it's really pretty and romantic. And then for lips, I'm using Peach Blossom Cremesheen from MAC. This is a beautiful color. It's one of my favorites. And that is it. That completes the look. This is one of my favorite looks. It's very simple, but it just makes you look really flirty, really cute, and romantic. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.